Welcome to Meet JMT, Insights from Within, a series that introduces our industry professionals and provides them the opportunity to share their professional experiences, personal reflections, and sources of inspiration as individuals working in the architecture, engineering, and construction sectors.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Meet JMT podcast. My name is Jennifer, and I am your host and digital marketing manager here at JMT. Today, we have Douglas Mangum joining us on the podcast. He is our newly appointed Senior Archaeologist based in our Houston, Texas office. Douglas, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you mind telling our listeners just a little bit more about yourself and your role here at JMT?
Sure. I'm an archaeologist with more than 30 years of experience in the field of cultural resource management, which is a nice way of saying archaeology. Most of that time has been spent in Texas and adjacent states. I will be leading archaeological compliance projects for JMT's Houston office. That will mean helping state and municipal clients comply with federal, state, and local cultural resource laws and regulations. That work will principally involve determining the presence or absence of archaeological and historical sites within proposed project areas, and when such resources are present, helping the clients navigate mitigation strategies so their projects can proceed.
Thank you so much for that additional introduction. Can you tell us about what some of your inspirations were when you were choosing your professional career?
Sure. I pretty much always wanted to be an archaeologist. I read my mother's college anthropology textbook when I was 10 and was kind of hooked by that. The path to actually becoming an archaeologist was not an easy one, but once I was on that path, I never really looked back.
That's great that you were able to follow something you were so passionate about since such a young age. What has been a significant project you've handled, and how has that impacted you, JMT, or even the AEC industry?
The project I almost always point to when asked this sort of question is my work at the San Jacinto Battleground State Historic Site with one of my previous firms here in Texas. The work there occurred intermittently over a period of about 10 years, and we helped to rewrite some aspects of the battle that occurred there on April 20th and 21st in 1836. Finding and analyzing artifacts related to such a pinpoint moment in history, and one that impacted the history of both nations involved, left a pretty deep impression on my life and my career. Among other things, my master's thesis was at least in part derived from that project and the research wrapped around it. Also, the technologies involved in some of our work there were still developing at the time, particularly as they applied to that sort of conflict site. And now those technologies are permanent fixtures in the profession.
It must feel extremely rewarding to continue to reshape the history of such a significant event. The fact that it also influenced your thesis really speaks to how forward-looking the experience was for both your personal journey and the profession itself. Outside of your day-to-day work life, are there any hobbies or interests that you feel have really influenced your professional career?
Well, archaeology is really a combination of all of my hobbies and interests. Reading about history, conducting research, finding cool things, looking at maps and rocks, being out in nature, and more. They all funnel into my profession in one way or another. Archaeologists are often called sort of jack of all trades because we have to absorb a lot. And so it tends to reflect both inwards and outward.
I think most of us can say that we strive to have a career that fits so seamlessly into our personal lives and passions. So I think it's great that you found this for yourself. I want to thank you so much for joining me on the Meet JMT podcast today. But before we leave, are there any closing thoughts or even words of wisdom that you would like to leave our listeners with?
I can't promise any wisdom, but I will say that a career spent pursuing the past has taught me the importance of preserving or at least recording the history and prehistory of the world that we live on. And as far as JMT, I've met or at least spoken with everyone in the JMT cultural resource team, and I'm really enjoying working with them. I'm very much looking forward to using my experience and knowledge to help the team expand our cultural resources service lines in Texas and beyond, and also to helping our clients successfully address their cultural resource needs.
Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the Meet JMT podcast today. Remember to subscribe, post a review, and of course, encourage your friends and colleagues to do the same.